So what I want to do now is let's go over demand and then we'll get to Amazon product bundling. All right. So when we're looking at demand of a particular type of product, and I really don't want you guys to overthink this too much, right? All we're looking for is obvious demand, right? So what I mean by obvious demand is if we're looking at these particular types of products, for example, one way to tell whether or not this product is in demand is just look at how much are actually bought, right? Amazon have this new feature now, which makes it really, really easy. And you can see, so obviously wipes have a lot of demand, right? 50,000 bought in the past month, 700, 4,000, 3,000, 100,000. So that's one way of actually doing it, is to get on Amazon, see if you can actually see what Amazon have given you there. That shows basically exactly how much those products are being bought on a monthly basis. So that's one way of doing it. And again, I want you guys to keep this really simple. Another way of actually doing it is to go to Google Trends. So this is also a really good tool to not only see demand, but also to see the trend in the market of that particular type of product. So you can go to Google Trends, and I'll add all these links in the actual, the back end of Kajabi. So you can see here, or the back end of the course. So I got Australia. So you would just choose the country there. So let's choose the US. It shows usually a better example. And let's pick a product. Now I'm just going to put in, let's say I was thinking about a beach tent, and that was my product. I wanted to sell that. I would just type in beach tent, click on explore. And once it comes up, we can see the United States. It says the past day. But what we want to do is we want to change this, right? We don't want that past day. We want to change that to the past 5 years. So let's go to past day. We're going to go to past 5 years. Right, and this is going to give us basically the interest over time for this particular type of product. Now, we have here the search volume. So I use a product called, or an actual app called Keywords Everywhere. And Keywords Everywhere just makes it simple for me to actually determine the actual search volume, right? So what I mean by that is if we look here to the left-hand side, we can see this is the search volume on a monthly basis. So 5,000 people searching at a month, and this is on Google, 10,000 people, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, etc. Right? So Keywords Everywhere gives me that indication. If you guys wanted to get it, you can. You don't really need it. It costs me about $20 a year, and it gives me like a ton of credits, and I can basically use it all year for that $20, and it just kind of gives me those numbers. But you also don't need those numbers, right? So you can go down to here and you can see this is how you would see it if you don't have that tool. You would just see it like this, which is completely fine, right? Obviously, if it's up to 100, it means it's got high search volume. If it's low, it's got low search volume, right? So you do not need that app, but it is handy for me because I do a lot of these calls, right? So basically what we can see in the actual trend. So this is a trend of the keyword beach tent, right? The actual product beach tent over a period of time. So we can see that the product goes up and then back down, right? It goes up, back down. Now, does anyone know what this would mean? So basically, this is letting you know that the product is actually seasonal, right? So the product is seasonal because it's a beach tent, right? So basically what's happening is people are buying it over summer, and then as it starts to get cold weather, not many people are buying it, and then you're going back up and down again, right? So that tells you the product is actually seasonal. But also, there is one thing that a lot of people look at this wrong, right? So what I mean by that is usually when people look at a seasonal product, they instantly basically disqualify it. So I don't mind seasonal products, but you have to know you're getting into a seasonal product, right? And to know that, you basically look at the Google trend. But once you know that you're getting into a seasonal product, and then you can think of the right strategy to counter the lower sales that you're going to get over the winter period, right? So if I was looking at this particular type of product and I'm starting to think, okay, well, this is a seasonal product. How am I going to maximize on this? Is this a product that I want to do? So the first thing that I would do if I'm looking at a seasonal product like this is I would look and say, okay, well, what I'm going to do is my advertising, right, when I'm going to really go hard with Facebook advertising and Amazon advertising and everything, is I'm going to spend as much money as possible right about here, right? Right about there, because I know based on the trend that around about this month, and you can see it probably better here. So let's say it was here, right? So that's probably around about, and again, you can zoom in on this. It's probably going to be around about March, maybe around about March or something like that. So I'll be spending the majority of my advertising budget right here, right, leading up to it. In this downslope here, at around about here, I'm going to start preparing all my marketing campaigns, right, leading up to here. See, no one else would do that. No one else would prepare like that, right? So what you can do is you can use those months as a bit of a breather, right, and start preparing all your content for your advertising and for your marketing. You know, you can start doing videos, you can start using testimonials, and then you'll be basically saving all your budget and spending the majority of your budget all within this kind of window, right? Your advertising budget. And then what's going to happen is you're going to really take advantage of all of those sales as much as possible, right? And that isn't even going to actually probably even affect the fact that it's seasonal, because you're the only one that's preparing so much to ensure that you're maximizing the sales. Like, for example, gyms, right? I was speaking to a buddy of mine who owned a gym years ago, and he was telling me that 80% of the gym budget, the gym marketing and advertising budget, is actually spent on about 2 months before New Year's, right? And you'll see the gyms come out, New Year's, New Year's goals, New Year's target, get healthy for the new year, right? And that's what they do. They spend the majority of their money because people are like, oh yeah, that's right. It's a New Year resolution. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get healthy. And they're basically spending all their marketing budget. People are like, I'm going to start the gym next year. I'm going to get healthy. And that's what they do, right? So gyms know when to maximize their marketing budget. But if you're looking at a product that's seasonal, you can actually do this also, right? So it's a really, really good idea, because then you know. So that's one particular strategy to look at a Google trend.